So, folks, it's been a hot minute since we checked in with one Matt Walsh. Let's take a look at what he's up to. Surely it's some hard-hitting, fact-based journalism. You know, the kind of hard-hitting, on-the-ground journalism he's always been doing. What with his exposés and documentaries. Let's take a look at his latest work.
Sesame Street has been bombarding children with propaganda for some time now.
Ah, I see. That's what Matt Walsh is up to these days. Let's just start from the beginning.
Sesame Street has been bombarding children with propaganda for some time now. A few years ago, they pushed the COVID shot and endorsed the BLM riots. We began the week by talking about the collapse of Pride Month as parades are canceled due to low attendance. And
you know, I really do want to emphasize that the fact that like Matt Walsh has to spend time talking about Sesame Street or some other children's show every week or so. Like once a week, he has to give like his review of like the latest Elmo adventure, or I don't know, like next week is he gonna review Caillou? Are we gonna get a Caillou review from this guy? What about a Clifford the Big Red Dog? We gonna hear about how Clifford is communist because he's red? Like I genuinely, I love that like Matt Walsh is such a miserable son of a bitch that he's like scraping the bottom of the barrel every day that he wakes up, you know? Caillou being bald is woke. Yeah, I miss when my animated children had thick, luscious locks. How dare there be an animated show about a bald child? That's woke. Next, you're going to tell me that Caillou has pronouns.
Fucking pronouns! And corporate sponsors drop out. Didn't happen by accident. It happened because conservatives organized rallies in defense of children, investigated hospitals and medical providers that were abusing children, boycotted corporations that promoted gender ideology, and ultimately voted to...
You know what's really weird, though? Like, you're, like, alleging that doctors are, like, mutilating children, right? And yet, your actions don't really indicate that you believe that. You know? Like, bigots and transphobes are continually trying to, like, push the narrative that, like, these mutilations are happening everywhere.
Next week, we'll hear about how Thomas the Tank Engine is trying to push the trans people agenda on children.
It's just a little bit too close to trans agenda, if you ask me. It's just one letter away. You can't spell trains without trans. But like, Socket Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. But like, genuinely, I don't know, like these freaks purportedly believe that like, oh, children are being mutilated in these hospitals, but then are very happy to take their own children to said hospitals. You know, like I'm sorry, but like if I heard that there was a hospital where they would mutilate children, I wouldn't take my children to the hospital. Like I wouldn't go there for treatment myself. I also wouldn't bring children there. And yet, for whatever reason, they, despite alleging this, they're like, oh, but well, the mutilations only happen in one area of the hospital. It's just, there's just like one evil doctor, but all the rest are good. Like, what are you on about here? Like, you guys do not act like you believe the shit you say all the time. And that's because, frankly, I don't think most conservatives actually do believe the bigoted shit they spew. I think they just want to be bigoted, and all of the rest of it is, like, after the fact, like, rationalization, you know?
Elect politicians who recognize the reality of human biology. And for the first time in many years, conservatives rallied behind a worthwhile cause and secured meaningful...
Yeah, I do genuinely long shot F if Matt Walsh does a Q&A section. Someone needs to ask him about circumcision. Someone needs to ask him about his stance on circumcision. I don't believe that he's prepared for that.
Full change to American culture. As you can imagine, this effective campaign by conservatives, if only because it's so unprecedented, has led to sheer panic and confusion among many left-wing activists. They're really not sure what to do with themselves or how to explain their massive defeat. As recently as...
Yeah, left-wing activists don't know what to do with themselves. That's why I, Matt Walsh, am going to do an episode on Sesame Street.
A few years ago, they seriously thought that they could convince people to celebrate International Pronouns Day and Gay Uncles Day and 100 other fake holidays.
Wait a minute, there's a Gay Uncles Day? There's a Gunkles Day? Genuinely though, those are banging holidays. Like if you're a, like, I'm sorry, just pause, time out. I don't know if Matt Walsh knows this, but like everyone has pronouns.
Fucking pronouns!
Like if you're a cis person, you have pronouns. If you're a non-cis person, you also have pronouns. Pronouns are not limited to trans people. Everyone has pronouns. So, like, if you have, like, sure, is National Pronouns Day kind of a bullshit holiday? Absolutely. But you know what? You can have a lot of fun with that. You could make little cakes into letter shapes. You could eat cake. You could have little like, I don't know, like you could have little gay cakes about it, or little straight cakes. You could make little mixed drinks along different themes. Like that could be fun. You could set up little pronoun piñatas. You know, I'm just spitballing here, but like that could be a silly fun time. You know, you can have fun with that. Any holiday is kind of bullshit if you decide not to do anything for it. Like, if you're just like, oh, well, this is a bullshit holiday, and you don't celebrate it, then yeah, of course it becomes a nothing holiday to you. But if you decide it's Gay Uncles Day, time to celebrate my gay uncle, that's kind of fun, isn't it? That's kind of fun. Like, you have to be like a real monster, a real kind of Ebenezer Scrooge type to just be like, huh, you want to have a party on a day that you're just saying is a holiday? And it's kind of like, yeah, I do though. That sounds fun, actually. You know, I'm gonna make a decadent mac and cheese casserole and make mixed drinks for my friends. And yeah, it might be a bullshit holiday, but it's gonna be our bullshit holiday, and we're gonna love it. And like, I don't know, I feel like everyone should have a happy Gunkle Day, you know?
They never imagined that their whole ideology would be so discredited and so universally despised that people would forsake Pride Month, their crown jewel. This is a total shock to them. And
can we also just take a moment and be like, the way that Matt Walsh thinks that gay people think about Pride Month, it's very weird, right? Because it's also emblematic of like how a lot of conservatives think that like gay people feel about Pride Month. And it's like, their crown jewel. It's like, wait, y'all know we're gay all the time, right? Like, we don't just like we're not like Cinderella-ing here the rest of the year. And then, you know, June 1st, we put our foot into like the ruby slipper and we, you know, turn into marvelous princes and princesses. You know, that's not how it works. We're gay all the time. We're trans all the time. That, like, it's like, I don't think you get it, actually.
And therefore, all over the country, dramatic meltdowns are currently in progress. To give one example that's making the rounds, here's a liberal woman who discovered to her horror that the local Target isn't selling trans t-shirts and chest binders or tuck-friendly swimsuits this year. Instead, Target has replaced its Pride section with patriotic clothing that says USA on it. The sacred Pride shrine has been defiled. This woman's not happy about it. Watch.
Oh, surprise gay time.
Surprise gay time. Now you're all surprise gays. Now, I'm just curious, does he link the video in here? No? Okay. I really want to know who this woman is.
Pride Month. In my Target that used to have the Pride section, it's now all USA. Yay. It's an American summer. Except for tourism, because tourism's down because no one wants to come here. USA, woo! And honestly, my dad serves in the military, and I'd love to be really proud of this nation, but it's hard to be proud of it under Donald Trump. But hey, you know, while you're here, pick up a USA bikini. You know, why not? Yeah, Target's really taken this anti-DEI thing to another level.
Wait, I'm sorry. Matt Walsh, how did you describe that woman's video?
With patriotic horror that the local Target isn't selling trans t-shirts and chest binders or tuck-friendly swimsuits this year. Instead, Target has replaced its Pride section with patriotic clothing that says USA on it. Pride Month, their crown jewel. This is a total shock to them, and therefore, all over the country, dramatic meltdowns are currently in progress. To give one example that's making the rounds, here's a liberal woman who discovered to her horror that the local Target isn't selling trans t-shirts and chest binders or tuck-friendly swimsuits this year. Instead, Target...
I don't feel like you can describe this woman's reaction as, like, horror, like she's being hyperbolic or anything.
Just a PSA, ICE had moved some of its forces from LA to Santa Ana in CA.
Thank you for the update, Andrew S., and for the $5 super chat. But, like, it is interesting to me that, like, he's really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. This woman, you know, like, they have to make a show, right? And they have to make it seem like LGBTQ people are hysterical. They're going crazy. And, like, out of everything they could find to support that conclusion, they picked lady sounding kind of bored and disappointed in a Target. That's I am mildly disappointed. Yeah.
In my Target that used to have the Pride section, it's now all... Yeah, Target's really...
She literally shrugged. She literally looked at the camera and shrugged.
Yeah, Target's really taken this anti-DEI thing to another level.
Nobody wants to come here, she says as she smiles very angrily, which is always a big red flag. Of course.
oh, fuck. As she smiles very angrily. Like, oh my God, dude. Oh, God. He has to try so hard. Yeah, that woman was so angry, just trembling with rage.
That claim would be news to the millions of foreign nationals.
Genuinely at this point, I feel like Matt Walsh probably has zero to do with prepping his show. I think he just shows up and reads a teleprompter at this point. Like, I don't think he actually knows what he's talking about until he gets to it.
To do everything in their power to come to this country every year, including committing felonies and risking their lives and their children's lives. Also, even if it were true that nobody wanted to come here, what does that have to do with Target selling American flag clothing?
But tourists don't want to come here, Matt. Her claim was tourists don't want to come here. Notice how he didn't engage with that point at all. Like, he tried to deflect onto, like, immigration, but immigration is a lot different than tourism, Matt. And, you're old enough to know that, so I have to imagine you just don't want to engage with that point because it would look pretty fucking bad for you to look at the actual, tourism numbers. Let's just tourism US. Let's just take a look at the news here. Just news results searching tourism US. Let's see. America to tourists don't come here. Fewer foreign tourists are visiting NYC. The city's feeling the pinch. American tourism takes a hit. Bad news for NYC. That's so crazy. Oh, U.S. could lose $23 billion in GDP and 230,000 jobs if foreign tourists stay away, study says. This is from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, who needs 230,000 jobs? Not America. That's just trimming the fat. We got to be efficient. Right, Matt?
Just because every single one of the 10 Canadians who can afford to go on vacation are boycotting America, we're supposed to somehow buy clothing with, we're not supposed to buy clothing with an American flag on it for that reason? This woman is fighting a battle that her side is losing, and at some level she clearly understands that. it'd be hard to miss. For example, this is the
You know, I do want to just give some props to Bloomberg here for creating a really entertaining webpage to explain this issue. Look at the little pixel art. That's cute. Look at that. That's some real effort. Trump's 12 billion tourism wipeout. 4 months into the president's term, his policies are upending tourism worldwide. 9 charts tell the toll on global travel. Huh. You know, I gotta say, that is an interesting chart. Foreigners arriving in the US by air year over year change. That's so weird. Cool. America the Avoidable. Change in travel to the US January through April of 2025 compared with a year ago. Countries that have cautioned their citizens about visiting the US. The UK, Canada, Germany, France, China, Spain, Netherlands, Ireland, Belgium, Denmark, Portugal, and Finland. Not a big deal, though, I bet.
the first year in a long
Good
time
night,
where
Ashley.
most corporations aren't even bothering to change their social media feeds to reflect LGBT logos. As you can see, companies like Apple, IBM, Paramount.
Okay, but like also genuinely gay people didn't give a fuck about that. Like here's the thing that like Matt Walsh doesn't seem to understand is that like this was all like hollow performative bullshit. Like gay people don't really care about this at all. The straights are the ones that like lose their goddamn minds anytime a logo gets changed. Also, just as an FYI, just want to throw this out there. That Apple logo was literally the logo of Apple back in 1977. You know, just throwing it out there that is literally the same logo from 1977. Fuck off, Matt.
BMW, Netflix, Disney, Spotify, and American Airlines are all sitting this particular Pride Month out, at least as far as the LGBT logos go. And that's some progress, obviously. At the same time, it would be a mistake to say that Pride has been eradicated because it hasn't been. There are still various corporations and nonprofits that are pushing the message, including the people behind Sesame Street, which targets children as young as 2 years old, if not younger.
The insidious show Sesame Street that targets children as young as 2 years old with learning numbers and letters and how to read. Their insidious agenda. What are you going to read with those skills, baby? Are you going to read gay? Like what are you doing, man? Like y'all understand like Matt Walsh is a freak, right? Yeah, it targets them with the curse of knowledge.
Sesame Street has been bombarding children with propaganda for some time now. A few years.
Yeah, what you're gonna teach them an L, then you're gonna teach them a G, then a B, then a T. Where does it end? A plus sign?
Years ago, they pushed the COVID shot and endorsed the BLM riots. They also broadcast a spin-off.
Citation needed. Like, on the one hand, I don't know if Matt Walsh knows this, but a very common thing that children need to do is learn how to go get vaccinated because schools require them. And it's good for them to be vaccinated against preventable illnesses, actually. And so that's one thing. A very common thing for children to fear is needles. They should probably learn how to get vaccinated. And number two, I really want Matt Walsh to present the scene from Sesame Street where Elmo looks into the camera and says, "Fuck the police." Elmo says, "Fuck the police." Like I want to see that. I want to see where Grover talks about ACAB. A, C, A, B. I can't do a Grover voice. I don't know what Grover sounds like.
Show where a demonic-looking drag performer from Queer Eye tells children that he's going to show them his monster piece. Watch.
Elmo, Cookie, are you ready to see my monster piece?
Ready, Jonathan!
Can we take a moment to really linger here? Just really quick. Can we take a moment to linger here? that Matt Walsh is implying that Jonathan from Queer Eye is saying monster piece as if Jonathan's talking about like a penis, when what's very clearly happening, and I've been able to ascertain this from like a second of watching this scene, is that Jonathan's making a reference to masterpiece. Do you want to see my masterpiece?
Mama Bear, some runway music, please. Oh, yeah. People and monsters alike, a round of applause for the Not Too Late Show's newest monster, Alan. Ta-da! Alan Monster is wearing the latest in high monster fashion with a set of sleek horns, fluffy, fuzzy fur, all topped off with a monster honker.
Oh my god. Is that gritty? Can we just
topped off with a monster honker?
Look at how mad he has to pretend to be. He has to give the exact amount of silence that signifies disapproval.
Now, where most companies and nonprofits have scaled back this kind of overt propaganda, Sesame Street is doubling down.
This kind of overt propaganda, what's overt about it, Matt? I want you to break it down. Break down to me what you think is happening here. Like, do you think that this is propaganda for penis noses, Matt? Like, the joke is obviously that the nose honks when it's pressed, and that a honker is also a nose. Kind of like clowns have honking noses sometimes, or honk when you squish the nose. Like, Matt Walsh is sitting here being like, they're talking about a dick nose. They're trying to get all the children hooked on a dick nose fetish. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, I just want Matt Walsh to look into the camera and break down what he thinks is happening here. You know, Matt, please, by all means, I want to see more of your in-depth analysis. Like, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by the internal world of Matthew Walsh. Like, when he watches this and he walks away shaking his head, calling it horrible propaganda, like, I want you to explain that. Like, walk us through the steps that get you to that point, you know? Because I think that's fascinating. That's a fascinating read on the situation.
I want to make fun of Matt Walsh's beard so badly, but I have nothing against his wife. BWA.
Very knifey duck. Thank you for the $5 dono. Lance of Fury, Scorn of Storms. I'm glad I'm more happy and a better human than these miserable people. Yeah, honestly, remember always that at the very least, at your lowest moments, chat, at the very least, you're not losing your shit over episodes of Sesame Street. You know, at the very least, you're not like watching Sesame Street and going, Mr. Snuffleupagus' trunk is a metaphor for dicks. Oh, I can't believe they're indoctrinating children. Look at the size of that thing. It's huge. They've gone beyond horse dick. They're talking about elephant cock with that nose. It's flopping everywhere. Mr. Snuffleupagus. Oh, it's lewd. Oh, I'm so angry. Oh, God. Snuffleupagus. Oh god, fuck, it's so funny.
Down on it. That's probably because they know that children are still extremely susceptible to it. So first of all,
children are so vulnerable to schnoz-based humor. Look, it'll destroy them.
Sesame Street has invited that person back this season for an episode that's going to air later this year. Presumably, they're going to do more monster makeovers and show more children his monster piece, whatever that is.
Hey,
Jack,
Matt.
I don't think that's what junk in the trunk means.
Hey, Matt, are you trying to take a high horse here as a guy who literally sold a plush baby with your face on it? You literally had a store item people could buy that was your face on a plush baby. You advertised it on your show, Matt. It was on your shelf, but okay.
And secondly, just in time for Pride Month, they posted this message on social media. It reads, quote,
imagine being this pathetic, man. Imagine being so pathetic that you're angry about a bunch of monsters holding hands in a children's show. Oh my God.
on our street, everyone is welcome. Together, let's build a world where every person and family feels loved and respected for who they are. Happy Pride Month.
Oh, how dare they? How dare they threaten children with indoctrination for respecting one another and holding hands? Oh, I'm filled with rage. My hatred will shake the heavens. How dare they attack the children like this? Why, God? Why do you allow them to exist? Now I know why Sesame Street is populated with monsters.
And they have the image of the people grabbing the furry hands and all the different colors.
If Matt is into ABDL, that's totally his business. Too bad he's a closeted hateful bigot.
Thank you for the $5 dono, one-eyed heathen. But also just real quick,
Month. And they have the image of the people grabbing the furry hands and all the different colors of the
people. They have the different images of the people grabbing the furry hands. No, Matt, they're image. Matt. Literally, those are the hands of the prominent monsters from the show. They're all holding one another's hands. They're not grabbing each other's hands. It's such a weird way of phrasing it. Also, clearly, they're the different characters. You can see Ernie and Bert's hands. You can see Big Bird's wing hand. You can see Elmo's hand. Like, you can see Oscar the Grouch's. There's fucking Grover's hand. Like, the fucking Cookie Monster. Like, I'm an adult, Matt. I haven't watched Sesame Street in probably, I don't know, 30 years. And even I can tell you from looking at this image which hand belongs to which character on the show. They're not just grabbing hands, they're all holding each other's hands to welcome each other and show each other that it's safe to be there. Because they're a community and they love each other, Matt. Something that you are apparently unfamiliar with. He's losing his mind about this? Genuinely, yes.
Pride Month. And they have the image of the people grabbing the furry hands and all the different colors of the Pride flag. When my sleep was off, it felt like
all the different colors of the Pride flag. Matt, I don't know if you've ever watched Sesame Street before, but they are the monsters are different primary colors. It's true.
Every person should be respected because that's not true. Message you tell them.
Wait.
Just like that. Now, if you wanted to protect children, this is the exact opposite message you tell them. You wouldn't tell them that every person should be respected because that's not true.
What? Matt, are you encouraging your children to, like, discriminate against their classmates? What do you mean? I'm sorry. Point blank, every child deserves to be loved, respected, and deserves to be safe. Like, full stop. And, like, Matt's like, oh, you think everyone deserves to be respected? And it's like, yeah, I think so. Now, I disrespect Matt Walsh because he flies in the very face of the idea of tolerating people different from himself. You know, if he was born, I don't know, 30 years earlier, he would have been like pro-segregation. Honestly, I'm not convinced he's not pro-segregation now.
For example, if somebody working for Sesame Street was arrested for possessing sexually explicit images of young children on his computer, which happened a little over a decade ago.
Huh. That's a long time ago, Matt. Matt, I don't think you actually want to bring up someone arrested for having sexually explicit material of children on their computer. You know, I don't think you actually want to go down this road, Matt.
Matt Walsh is the bully's Apsi father from every cheap school drama if he was a real person.
Honestly, yeah. Let's just take, you know what, Matt, it's fine. But I would just I would just throw out there, Matt, that maybe certain people a decade ago don't have the high ground that you're pretending to have. Look at this from Blaze Media. The Duggars aren't hypocrites, progressives are, from Matt Walsh. About 10 years ago, oddly enough. That's so weird. That's so weird. By now, you've probably heard that Josh Duggar, oldest son of the 19 kids and counting family, did some very bad things a long time ago. Apparently, when he was 14, Josh fondled several young girls, including a number of his younger sisters. After admitting to these acts, his parents presented the situation to their church's leadership, and Josh was sent to a family friend in Little Rock, where he spent several months doing physical labor. When he came home, his parents brought him to a state trooper. The trooper talked to the boy, but no arrest was made. A police report was filed, though, and Josh and his sisters received counseling. The behavior stopped there, and Josh has been upfront about it to anyone who actually needs to know this information. According to his wife, he confessed his past sins to her well before they were married. The family did not, however, announce these details to the world, mostly because there was no conceivable reason to. That is until someone leaked it to a tabloid, and the whole scandal exploded over the media yesterday. Yeah, again, this is Matt Walsh. Matthew Walsh, the guy on Daily Wire, saying it's ridiculous for people to have been alerted that someone molested multiple siblings. The backlash has been severe, not because Josh's actions were terrible, though they were, of course, but because the Duggars are a prominent Christian family who regularly speak out on contentious social issues like gay marriage. Yeah, I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that maybe it's also because they push Christian concepts of purity, and also, because the actions were really bad and were covered up.
Protecting children, but who seriously would hire him as a babysitter?
Well, that's a great question, Matthew H. Thank you for the $20 Australian. But let's scroll down, because that's actually pretty apropos. Let's take a look here. Let's scroll down here. His third point here, defending Josh Duggar. I know I'm opening myself up to serious criticism here, but let me be honest with you. If my own son, God forbid, came to me and admitted to doing what Josh Duggar did, I don't know that I'd immediately run to the cops. Would you? Is it really that simple? The decision to have your child arrested as a sex offender would be an automatic thing for you? Really? I guess I'm just a horrible person then. Again, I don't think this is the guy who you should listen to when it comes to protecting the children, actually. The guy who admits to being a horrible person and says that he would cover up his child molesting his other children. Just out of curiosity here. Let's take a look here. Yeah, also, Matt Walsh kind of glazes over it in the opening of this. He fondled several young girls, including a number of his younger sisters. That's Matt Walsh saying, and I'm just going to look at the Wikipedia here, that Josh touched the breasts and genital region of his sisters on multiple occasions while they were sleeping, and sometimes when they were awake. Yeah, he also did it to a babysitter. This is the kind of person that Matt Walsh is defending. When you see Matt Walsh here being like, oh, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. Did you know that 10 years ago there was someone who worked on Sesame Street that had awful images on their computer who was caught and then sentenced for it? Yeah, but the issue there is that everyone agrees that people who look at those images should probably be arrested. They should go to jail. People agree with that.
When I was a JP, we had a similar situation. The parents turned their son in, the son got counseling, and when the therapist finished the counseling, he got deferred adjudication. He was abused himself.
Oof. Simric, that's rough. Thank you for the $10 super chat. But like, Matt Walsh is there saying like, oh yeah, nope, 10 years ago, this guy, you know, that proves that today, Sesame Street is deranged. And it's like, well, okay, if we use that same logic, though, you defended a literal child molester and said you would also cover up for other child molesters, Matt. Like, I just... Like, I don't know how else you can think that. Like, if we follow your own logic, we should also continue to say, hey, Matt Walsh's productions, well, they're tainted by his you know, defense of maybe one of the most prolific reality television child diddlers, unfortunately. Also, just as an FYI, I'm not going to read this section for obvious reasons, but you know, I am just going to point out here that there's a section of Josh Duggar's Wikipedia page. So I don't know that you want to go down this road, Matt. I don't know that you want to go down this road.
Then it would be a mistake to tell children that he should be respected. Some people are evil. They do terrible things, and we shouldn't respect what they do, and we shouldn't respect them either, personally. And every reasonable adult understands that, but people who want to groom children push the opposite message. Again, fortunately, we're seeing fewer and fewer of these messages lately because most adults understand exactly what's going on, but children...
What is exactly going on, Matt? Is it, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what's going on? Be explicit. Tell us what is happening. Because you're hiding behind this vague innuendo, that the vague assertion that something is happening. But like, you know, be explicit. Tell us what you think. I'm able to present you with facts that you defended vigorously a known child molester who then went on to continue to sexually assault people and also engage in child sex abuse materials. You defended him, Matt. You said you wouldn't turn him into police. And I don't know. I would like you to be more explicit about what you're actually talking about when that's you, Matt.
As well as adults with the minds of children are still being targeted with this kind of LGBT propaganda. And it works particularly well on people whose brains aren't fully developed. For example, Canadians are constantly subjected to LGBT propaganda, even in 2025. Some of this propaganda takes the form of advertisements like this.
Man, do you guys love that he just called Canadians subhuman? Looks like that are maybe derogatory towards like other nations or whatever, but like in a friendly way. Like, I think that there's a way you can do that. People make fun of people from Minnesota all the time because we like, you know, we're like, oh yeah, you betcha. You know, we going fishing, we going catch that big walleye. Oh yeah, don't you know? Like we talk like that all in like the rural regions. You know, people be into the maple syrup and root beer and shit. Like there's a way to like talk about that. It's fun, but the issue there is that you're talking about like different cultural touchstones and like having fun with that, and you're not just literally just pointing at like another nation and saying everyone from there is mentally deficient. Yeah, there are a ton of jokes you can make about Australia. Like I still don't understand how you guys survive being upside down all the time. I thought after a certain amount of time people died from that, but you guys keep thriving down there.
This one from Air Canada. Let's check in with their priorities.
We are doing the first ever, now let me get that one straight because a few letters have been added to this one, 2S LGBTQIA+ flight ever in Canada. I do identify with the progress flag. There is something in there that represents me as well. So it was a bit of joy having the opportunity to do this flight today.
Aujourd'hui, ce que ça signifie, c'est vraiment un moment très spécial. C'est vraiment un terme de visibilité, de vraiment exprimer par tout le monde. On se sent vraiment accueilli, vraiment accepté pour qui on est.
Pour célébrer l'inclusion et la diversité, nous sommes heureux d'annoncer que le vol d'aujourd'hui
features our very first all 2S LGBTQIA+ crew.
The safety and the well-being of all the passengers on board rests in our hands. So it doesn't matter who they are, what they represent. I'm equally responsible for all of them.
D'ailleurs, on aimerait vous souligner ce moment marquant
Oh no. Is the twist to this story that the plane crashed? Were they all too busy being gay and the plane crashed? Is that what happened? Is that the obvious conclusion that Matt Walsh is talking about? The implication of all of this? Like they were just all too busy being gay and it crashed in a terrifying ball of flame above the copious maple fields of Manitoba? Oh, wait, no, nothing bad happened. Everything was fine. And the maple fields lived to maple another day.
Okay. And want to celebrate not just our community.
If anything, the plane would go faster because everyone knows to get out of their way because they're gay.
But our freedom to be who we are, both at work and in society. Valuing people equally, both in the air and on the ground, and celebrating our identities, no matter what they are, with customers and our employees.
Oh no, celebrating identities no matter what they are. Wait, does Matt Walsh think that wouldn't also include like straight people? Like does he not know that straight people also have identities?
Is important to us. Shante, you all stay.
Yeah, have you guys never seen a gay person walking? They're either very slow or they're very fast. And I have to imagine if they work in transportation, they're the fast ones. Average Matt Walsh fans throwing up, heaving, skin burning.
Now, in case you couldn't make it out because some of it's in French, the captain says that this flight is a watershed moment in Canadian history, and that's what he tells the passengers. The first all 2SL LGBTQIA plus flight, he says, was a major development for Canada as a country. Truly, Canada will never be the same after this moment. They got a bunch of two-spirits, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, queer, intersex, asexual.
I mean, Matt Walsh should be in favor of this policy. If all of us are up in the air in the airplanes, then we're farther away from him. Like, he should be in favor of this, you know? If we're all busy working airlines, we're all constantly up in the air, miles away from Matt Walsh.
And plus sign people together, and they flew the plane. It's like the Canadian version of the moon landing. Actually, it's less impressive than it sounds. As best I can tell, they didn't make sure that all the passengers were 2SL LGBTQIA plus. That would have been, more impressive. And
Matt, are you suggesting that they fuck the passengers? Like, in order to get on this plane, you have to suck a dick. Like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about, Matt? If you can't suck a dick, you're flying on the straight plane, and it's going to take a half an hour longer to get to where you're going. Yeah, Matt seems sad that he wasn't invited to the gay plane.
Probably very illegal and highly invasive. Instead, they're just referring to the crew.
And wait. Highly invasive. He literally thinks that. No. Wait. He actually thinks that when he says they should have made sure, he literally thinks they should have had passengers suck dick in order to get on the plane. I was making a joke.
Apparently every crew member falls into one of these letters or symbols. That still raises the question of how exactly Air Canada determined the identities of its various crew members. When they were signing this crew, did they...
Probably better drinks on the gay plane, right? Higher quality amenities. Again, not because of preferential treatment for the gays, but because the gays would fight for better amenities for the passengers.
Look for someone who's intersex. Did they ask the captain who he likes to sleep with? Did they grill him about how many spirits he has? What if he said he had 3 spirits? Would he be disqualified because they're only interested in people with 2? That seems like a pretty obvious safety risk. I mean, you want a pilot with as many spirits as possible, I would think. Sadly, though, even in Canada in the year 2025, 3-spirit discrimination.
Well, as we all know, the 3-spirit plus community goes on Spirit Airlines. It's a discrimination we have to address.
Remains very real, but we're picking on Canada too much. To be fair, there are a few other entities that are still continuing down this path. The New England Patriots uploaded some gay imagery, for example. So,
sir, you have too much spirit for this airline. I'm afraid we'll have to transfer you to Spirit Air.
No surprise there. For their part, the Philadelphia Museum of Art decked out their famous stairs with various trans-colored flags.
I'm sorry, you're upset about stairs? man? Like, really? Like, in your worldview, like, the West is collapsing and it's because, like, there are gay flags on stairs? How, like, in their world, right? The West must be such a weak construction. Who is this beard dude? I don't know, some whack job.
This is where the Rocky statue is located. You can see it here. And, you know, for a long time, we've wondered how trans activists would...
Wait, you're literally upset that they put a flag, 3 flags down the stairs for a photo op and then took them away? So not only are you upset that there are like trans colors and like gay colors on the stairs, you're upset that they were ever near the stairs. Like, I'm sorry, like, conservatives are such pussies, you know, like, genuinely. Except that does a disservice. I like pussy. Like, they're just weak. They're just weak. You know, like, if this makes you like crumble emotionally, you're weak. Like, there's no other way to put it. If you see this and you feel angry, like, you're weak.
Up their game after painting flags all over the roads so that people would be forced to drive over them. And now we have our answer. They're going to put their flags all over the stairs that you're walking on. I guess the idea is that we're supposed to trample the pride flag under our feet.
They're clearly not going to stay there, Matt. Are you stupid? I mean, I know the answer to that, but are you stupid?
I mean, that would seem to be the obvious implication here. And if that's the case, I have to confess, I think it's a great idea. It's a much better idea than the pride flags on random roads because everybody wants to emulate Rocky and run
Walsh
up and down.
and his ilk have one job, and it's soothing repressed white guilt and coddling fragile bigots.
But also, like, does he not, like, even in the situation he's putting forward here, like,
flags on random roads because everyone...
The idea was, like he was upset about pride flags being painted on roads, and he's like, what's the idea? You're going to put the pride flags on the stairs and have everyone walk on them? Like, people weren't driving on the roads where the pride flags were painted, Matt? Man, you're running out of juice. This is weak as hell.
Everybody wants to emulate Rocky and run up and down those steps. So I'll book my flight to Philadelphia right now. I'll fly Air Canada if I can. Leave it to Philadelphia to construct the world's first pride monument that's actually interactive and worth visiting. I have to admit, I didn't see that coming. Hats off to these brilliant innovators.
I'm sorry, but does he think that, like, the pride flags painted on roads, you couldn't walk on them? I just... Yeah, why would you fly Air Canada to Philly, man? What is wrong with you? On, like, every single level of, like, delivery here. What the hell is happening?
Doesn't matter if it makes sense. His audience is scared they might not be good people and need someone to lie to them.
Oh, absolutely. That is absolutely the case, Nomi Sunrider, but it doesn't mean we can't mercilessly roast him for being a moron.
The city of brotherly love, I suppose. As for everyone else who continues to push unironic and uninteresting Pride Month propaganda long after Pride Month has faded into irrelevance, the Sesame Streets and the Air Canadas of the world, I have a very different message. Like Pride...
Yeah, Sesame Street will fade into irrelevance. Ignore the fact that Sesame Street is literally older than Matt Walsh.
Month itself, you are all today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full...
What an incredible mind. And I mean that in the most derogatory way possible. Matt Walsh is definitely this guy. Though I'm just throwing this out there. Why not climb up this, like, sloped area over here? That looks like a much easier place to get up the stairs, actually. I can't touch the pride flag. If I do, I'll die. Like, I don't know. The conservatives act like every Pride Month is like some weird version of the movie Crank, where if they touch or look at a pride flag too long, their heart will explode, you know? It's really weird sometimes. But anyway, Matt Walsh is I think you all know from watching the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe because it helps out the channel. Do the things, hit the buttons, help help a girl out. And happy Pride Month, everybody. I don't know what else to say. Like, we just watched a grown man have a full-on meltdown about Sesame Street. Like, what even is the conservative movement anymore?
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, Bane, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's